Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernest Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content and hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. The NBA season might be over, and we have crowned a champion this year for the 2023-2024 season with the Boston Celtics winning the championship over the Dallas Mavericks. But that doesn't mean that NBA news is over, because there's a lot going on with the coaching carousel right now with the Los Angeles Lakers and now with the Detroit Pistons, now that Monty Williams has been let go after one season. And now that begs the question, who are the Lakers going to end up hiring to be their next head coach? Because of the fact it looked like JJ Redick was the front runner for the job initially. And as you can see right here, JJ Redick is the odds-on favorite in the betting odds to become the next head basketball coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. But there have been other names circulating recently, and one of those guys was Dan Hurley, the UConn head coach. Some people thought that Dan Hurley was going to take the plunge, leave college basketball to become the next Lakers head coach. I was completely against it, and I think Dan Hurley made the right decision to stay in Storrs, Connecticut and turn down the job, even though he got a massive lucrative offer. But he hasn't been the only name considered for the job. James Borrego, Sam Cassell, those have been names that have been thrown around as well, right behind JJ Redick. But now that Monty Williams has been fired by the Detroit Pistons, that opens a whole other can of worms, because he could end up getting the head coaching job for the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm going to go over who I think the Lakers will hire and who I think that they should hire, and I'm going to talk about the Detroit Pistons head coaching job as well and see what I think about what's going on over there. Now, this is absolutely crazy, because JJ Redick, I still believe he is the favorite for the job, but I don't think he should take the job, because the Lakers job, it holds so much stigma, and when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis both on the team who make it very difficult to be a head coach for, especially LeBron James, because if you don't win, you're gone. LeBron James has got more head coaches fired than any other player in the history of sports, and that's absolutely sad, because LeBron James never takes the blame for issues on the team. It's always the coach's fault. It's never the organization's fault either, even though they're the ones that hired the head coach in the first place, but they're never going to take the blame, so it is what it is. But if JJ Redick wants to take the job, all kudos to him. I mean, he's going to make a lot of money. He's making a lot of money right now at ESPN, and to me personally, I would stay at that job. He's got it made in the shade there, but if he wants to take the Lakers job, try to see if he can cut it out as a head coach, all power to him. But the thing is, there's going to be other job opportunities in the future. But what's so ironic here is that now he's being thrown around for the Pistons head coaching job. And I will say that I do not think that JJ Redick is going to take the Detroit Pistons head coaching job, because even though this headline says that he is being linked to the job, and a lot of people are saying that there isn't really a lot of pressure at the Detroit Pistons job because of the fact that the team has a lot of young talent and there isn't a lot of pressure to win. But I don't really think that's the case, because Monty Williams just got fired after one season, kind of like how Adrian Griffin was fired at the Milwaukee Bucks after half a season, and they had a good record. So really every single job in the NBA right now has a lot of pressure. And yes, as a fired coach, you're going to be able to take that guaranteed money with you when you're fired. So it's not all bad, but still all of these jobs in the NBA right now are absolutely not safe jobs. I know you've got Eric Spoelstra, who's been there for a long time with the Miami Heat, and then Steve Kerr at the Golden State Warriors, Greg Popovich as well at the San Antonio Spurs. But other than that, a lot of these jobs are just not safe at all. Even Joe Mazzulla, who just won the NBA title this year with the Celtics, if they start doing worse in the future, you can bet your bottom dollar his job won't be safe either. But when you look at Monty Williams, they say he was blindsided by Pistons firing him amid $65 million left on his contract. And I'm just going to go in and say it right now. It was absolutely dumb for the Detroit Pistons to give Monty Williams that big of a contract, that big of a deal with all those years on that contract, just to fire him after 1 year. It's kind of like Texas A&M in college football, giving Jimbo Fisher all of that money, then just to turn around and fire him and give him an $80 million buyout, basically. It's stupid. Why? I mean, if the Detroit Pistons did not think that Monty Williams was going to be able to turn Detroit around in year one, then why did they hire him in the first place and then give him that big of a contract? Because when you look at Monty Williams' coaching record, he's barely under 500, so he hasn't really had the greatest coaching career ever. But to be fair, when he was the coach of New Orleans back in the day, New Orleans wasn't the best team ever. And then when he went to Phoenix, he had a much better record because the Phoenix Suns had good players, but they weren't advancing far enough in the playoffs, never got to win that title, even though they made it to the finals that 1 year. But still, they fired him, even though his record was pretty solid with Phoenix. But then he goes to Detroit and has an absolutely horrible record, but the team was so young. They have absolutely no veterans on the team basically. It's just a bunch of guys that have just entered the league. They're going to become a better team. But to me, it doesn't make sense for the Pistons to fire him after 1 year, give Monty Williams all that money. It's just dumb. And then J.J. Redick taking the job. If I'm J.J. Redick, I'm not taking either job, but it would make more sense for him to take the Lakers job than it would be the Pistons job because he would have a better chance to win. Maybe you could say the Pistons would not fire him after 1 year, even if they did bad because it's J.J. Redick. But I think that the Detroit Pistons are not going to hire J.J. Redick. I don't think Redick would take the job. I think James Borrego is going to end up getting the job at the Detroit Pistons. But that is my opinion. I think Detroit's going to go that route, but who knows if they're going to start winning anytime soon because they have a lot more roster building to do on that team. But now that leaves us to the original question. Who are the Lakers going to hire and who should they hire? Well, let's see what Stephen A. Smith has to say because he's been very vocal recently with the whole Caitlin Clark situation. And I just made a video on that about how he was kind of not saying such nice things about Caitlin Clark. Let's see what he thinks about the Lakers head coaching job.
I know we've been talking a lot about J.J. Redick, but Monty Williams available. That is a situation at the Los Angeles Lakers.
Of course, Stephen A. Smith would prefer Monty Williams.
Okay, so I would definitely say that as well. They should look at it. Obviously, Jeannie Buss, you know how much I love Jeannie Buss. I'm rooting for her to find the right person for the job. Respect Rob Pelinka, what he's going to do, you know. And yes, I respect Kurt Rambis too. I was joking around about him earlier, but I respect him too. So listen, they're all going to be a part of the process, and we'll see what happens. And you know, I think Monty Williams definitely should be a candidate for that job.
Somebody wrote on Twitter about Stephen A. Smith saying that he has become almost insufferable to watch on TV nowadays. And I wrote back and said Stephen A. Smith has always been insufferable. Whether you agree with that statement or not, Stephen A. Smith is a big media guy on TV, even though I don't really agree with hardly anything that he says. A lot of people take what he says to great worth. And because Stephen A. Smith is saying Monty Williams should be looked at by the Los Angeles Lakers, that could mean that they end up giving him a fair crack at the job and maybe consider him for it, even though I do think there are certain reasons why Stephen A. Smith is saying Monty Williams should get the job over J.J. Redick, but it is what it is. But I will say the only reason that Monty Williams has a little bit of an edge over J.J. Redick is he does have coaching experience, but I don't really believe that in the NBA having experience coaching matters all that much because really in the NBA, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say that coaches don't do anything and that they don't work hard. They do to an extent. But really, on some of these teams anyway, the players dictate the team more so than the coaches do. And that is why I think that Dan Hurley would have been a terrible hire for the Los Angeles Lakers. It would have been a big mistake for him because with his personality, he would not have been able to be himself as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. He would not have been able to have his antics. He would not have been able to say what he wants to say to LeBron. They would have told him that he needs to let LeBron do what he wants to do. So basically, the head coach is worthless. When you are the head coach of a team that has a player like LeBron James, it is what it is. And J.J. Redick, even though he isn't as mouthy as Dan Hurley, he has a mouth on him as well. He likes to say what he feels, and he's been a player for a very long time. So I'm sure he has certain beliefs of the game that are going to differ from LeBron and Anthony Davis. So I don't really think that would be a great match as well. So really, who should the Lakers hire? I don't really know because I don't really like a lot of these candidates that are on the betting odds, but you can really make an argument that it should be Monty Williams, even though he lost at the Detroit Pistons and the New Orleans Pelicans. He did a better job at the Phoenix Suns, and really the Los Angeles Lakers have been mediocre the past few years anyway because LeBron James and Anthony Davis, it just isn't enough for them to have success. LeBron's starting to age out. He's still a great player, but he doesn't have that many years left. I think the Lakers, whoever they hire, aren't going to have a lot of success, especially if they draft Bronny James. That will be a wasted draft pick. They need to take him as an undrafted free agent, but whoever the Lakers hire, I don't really think that they're going to really have a lot of success. It's going to be another mediocre year for the Lakers, but they probably should hire Monty Williams just for the experience alone and to save J.J. Redick. I know some people would say they need to hire J.J. Redick. He's probably the better hire, but I think J.J. Redick needs to stay away from the job, but that's who they're going to hire. Who will the Lakers hire at the end of the day? That's what the thumbnail said. That's what you guys want to know. I believe, without any insider information, outside of what Jay Williams has provided for us.
And I feel like you have the Los Angeles Lakers that are trying to figure it out. with J.J. Redick, a first-time head coach. We wish him all the best of luck with LeBron James in his twilight years.
J.J. Redick is going to get the job, but I think it's going to be a massive mistake for the Lakers and a massive mistake for J.J. Redick himself. He's not going to fit there. He's going to wish he did not take the job and that he would have waited for another job to open that would have been better for him, or for him just to stay at ESPN. That would have been the best move for J.J. Redick. Yes, the notoriety of being the Lakers head coach is going to be great, and maybe the experience he gains will be valuable. And who knows, maybe Redick will somehow get the job, and then he does okay enough in his first 2 years at the job while LeBron's there that he keeps his job. Then LeBron retires or moves on to another team or whatever, and then Redick can stay the Lakers head coach and build a dynasty over time. Maybe. You never know. But if he doesn't outlast LeBron James, then J.J. Redick will be making a mistake. I'm very worried for him in that regard, but that's who I believe the Lakers are going to hire. He's been the odds-on favorite the entire time, and I just don't think that Redick's going to take the Pistons job. And since he's been rumored this long, and there really hasn't been any other names until Monty Williams recently that are viable options for the job, I do think J.J. Redick will be the next head basketball coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, even though I think he will be making a big mistake. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, who you think the Los Angeles Lakers should hire. If you believe that Monty Williams will be the better candidate because he has coached a team like the Phoenix Suns that had a guy like Kevin Durant, where you have to deal with star players, where they want to do what they want to do over listening to the coach, or if you believe that J.J. Redick will be able to adapt to the Los Angeles Lakers and have success as their coach, or if you think there's some other candidate that you would prefer to be the next head basketball coach of the Lakers. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time.